Good morning and God bless. Thank you, God, for this life. It's time to get to work, baby. Warning: this transmission contains covenant enforcement code. You might experience grief for how long you've negotiated your execution, rage at the excuses you once called self care, and shame for how often you edited your own calling to be more palatable. If these symptoms rise, do not delay, do not soothe, do not seek balance, move, or be erased by what you agreed to ignore. Welcome to Raw for Epoch 2, day 112. Zero compromise, no breaks, no doubts, no justifications. You were not tired. You just wanted permission to disobey. We're going to get into our concept overview on this lovely Tuesday. We're talking zero compromise. Zero. Zero. What was that show? And the survey says zero. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what you said without exception. Let's audit the truth as part of our concept overview. If it still has a backup plan, it's not sealed. If you are justifying delay, you are already decaying. If you're explaining your disobedience, you've accepted it. If your identity still flinches, scared of the dark, your covenant's still cracked. The minute you negotiate, the minute you're no longer under oath, you're cracking. This is about lock-in. No backup, no reroutes, no compromise. Let's get into our visual metaphor of the day. We call this the parachute jump. Are you scared of heights? Visualize, immerse yourself, close your eyes if it makes you feel better. You strap in, the plane climbs, the wind shifts, the door opens, and there's no parachute. What do? It's cliche, Jeff. It's the do you rules. You jump anyway. And why? Because you don't need escape when you're sealed by purpose. You want to know what that is? That is covenant. There are no exits, just execution. We got to jump. Let me get into my personal perspective of the day. Here's how I feel about this. At its most fundamental core, this is about doing what you said you would do. And I get that moods shift. I get that life surprises you. But at some point, it's not that you stopped telling yourself what to do. It's that you stopped telling yourself what was worthy of being done. And that's why most people live half finished. Half done goals, half present relationships, half dead joy. Now you call it stress. But to me, that's just self-abandonment in disguise. And of course, I too had to endure and face myself. I had to stop lying. And I realized something terrifying. I wasn't breaking covenant. I was writing new ones. Ones that justified my disobedience. Ones that rewarded my delay. Ones that traded power for peace. It wasn't the system failing. It was me giving the system new instructions every time I got uncomfortable. We don't like to hear that. We don't like to see that. And when I really sat with it, no breaks, no doubts, no justifications, just acceptance and surrender, I realized something else. All the strategic thinking around what to do, what do I gotta do, what that had been done. It had been done. I saw the apex. I named the goal, described the dream, defined the destination. That vision was clear. So the only logical question was, why was I still hesitating? And if you really think about it and answer it, it was because I was pretending strategy still needed work. When all that was left, all that is really left, once you can see, my God, is obedience. And so it hit me, punched me right in the mouth. This is not a vision problem. It's a covenant problem. Because when we justify disobedience, that justification becomes the covenant. You don't just break your word, you write a new one. And the one you're writing is the one where the lie feels like truth, where delay feels like patience, where doubt feels like discernment. And the really real is, it won't even feel wrong because you've emotionally paired it with comfort. You've called it balance. You've labeled it transition, but it's really just false peace. Let me be clear about something. Covenant through lies is the most dangerous system you'll ever run. You want to know why? Because it doesn't scream. It's not going to yell at you. It's not even going to make that much noise. It just seduces. And once you attach emotion to disobedience, you won't even recognize the grind as avoidance. But when you flip it, when your covenant is rooted, when your execution is coded, when your schedule is sacred, there's only one question left. Do I want to keep going? And if the answer to that is yes, there's nothing left to think about. Not how, not when, not why. You want to know the real? You don't need feelings. You just need direction. And once sealed, no emotion gets to rewrite it. That is zero compromise. We're going to get into the black book. Let's check the chat. Yo, it's zero compromise. I said it, my perspective. And once I really just added the logic to it, if you've already thought about what it is you believe you have to do, the only thing to do is get tactical, is get your hands dirty, is move in the direction you said you would move. And I constantly refer to, it's why we went through an entire week of sort of an emotional rewrite. You're not going to avoid the emotion, but you can't let the emotion get in the way. At some point, you just got to be accepting of, I can't compromise the mission and the task just because of how I feel. And you also have to realize there's no compromise to the fact that you're going to feel. But if you're out there and the direction is clear and you see it, the hardest part is done. You know where you gotta go. Just go, man. You'll thank yourself later. And the reality that I continue to stress about the way life works, you not moving towards it and starting to compromise and flinching and labeling it as another sort of I hate to use the word excuse, but if you're pausing, too much pause, too much patience, that's compromise. So it's still covenant. You just have a covenant towards breakage. You have a compromised, or you have a compromised and a compromised covenant. That's a reality. So if I started this with the concept pretty much fundamentally around, it's about doing what I said I would do. If you don't do what you said you would do, you have a covenant around not doing what you said you would do. You're compromised. And all the things we talked about, your conscious, your thought process, your mindset, your emotional state will align with that. It's all compromised. It's friction, it's fraction, it's fragmented. Because you're not locked in on the direction you already saw. What are you overthinking? What is there left to think about if you know you're supposed to go do it? All that's left clearly is to convince yourself. Why is it so hard to convince yourself? What do you need convincing on? Sit with that for a bit. And let's get into the black book. Talk about the text. The text talks about covenant, right? Covenant's a strong word. Covenant is not a concept, it's code. Most people don't need more discipline. They need to audit the contracts they've written with comfort. Here's the mechanism breakdown. Covenant equals and equates to conscious code. It is not your goals. It is not your intention. It is the unedited script your life obeys when nobody's watching. Who are you about when nobody is watching, when the lights are off and you're not on the stage and you can't see this camera and you're out of performance mode? What does the stripped down in the dark, closet door closed version of you look like? Would you even watch you when no one's watching you? Ooh. Here's the second entry in the black book. Justification is the silent system override. I'll do it later, is a new line of code, not a delay, but a rewrite. You can overwrite your code with the same code over and over. I'll do it later. You're still waiting to do it later. Later has come and gone already. The third entry in our black book is disobedience compounds into design. If you miss one rep, then explain it. That is design. Rationalization is how habits harden. Ooh. You don't realize that you've rationalized and reasoned with yourself and created a logic to your excuses and your deference. I think that's a word. Why was the emotional aspect of the non-emotional realization of your subconscious so important? The one that runs 95% of your system. It doesn't care if your feelings are true or false. It just cares that you said it. It is now code. It might as well be written in a tablet as a commandment. It's covenant. And every time you let yourself off the hook, you harden that. Okay. Our fourth entry. Remembrance overrides all emotion. Discipline isn't just repetition, it's remembrance through motion. You don't move because you feel like it. You move because you remember who you said you were. If you can get over who you are currently being long enough to become who you want to be, the more you practice who you want to be, the more you remember what it feels like to be who you want to be. The distance between what your current state and identity is and the ultimate utopic nirvana blissful version of you, that distance closes every time you make movement towards that version. Why? You practice it. When you practice it, it gets stored in memory. When it gets stored in memory, you can refer to it. When you can refer to it, you can remember it. When you can remember it, what happens? You feel better. Why? You gain confidence. You have proof. It's no longer just fantasy and fallacy. It's no longer just a vision. There's action that has been taken. There's a reference point. What does that create? Wisdom. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will fail. Yes, you will bleed. That's also good for remembrance. Why? You don't want to step on the same landmine twice. There are things you have to learn to get you from where you are to where you want to be, and everything in between that. Every time you move towards that non-linear, linear approach of that's my direction, you give yourself remembrance. You build all the tools you need to establish the character traits that allow you to not just move into, but ultimately sustain, right? That's big too. There's a framework. It's all a simple framework. I keep saying it, and I laughed at myself yesterday when I thought about, what am I saying here? I wonder if this is valuable because it seems so logical to me. There's consequences of inaction. Here they are. If you don't reseal your covenant today, you'll normalize the negotiation of your authority. You'll call emotional noise intuition. That's that gut. It's in my gut. I shouldn't move today. You'll shrink your identity to fit your excuses. You'll spiritualize delay's alignment. You'll build a peaceful-looking prison. You'll chase dopamine highs in the name of progress, and worst of all, you'll keep writing covenants with the very system you swore to leave behind. What day is this? We're going to talk about how to take ownership. 112. Refer back to this year. A season has already passed. The winter's gone. The spring is here. It'll be summer, and it'll be fall again. And you'll be partying again, bringing in 2026 with the same resolutions. Come back to this. I dare you. If this makes it to you, I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to come back and say, that dude Cliche Jeff does not know what he's talking about. Look at what I did. But the reality is, it won't be enough. You'll be where you always are. Same place, same time, doing the same things. Getting the same results, confused as to why it keeps occurring. When the answer was always obvious. It was always you. Nobody else. That's the consequence. And the ultimate consequence, of course, is that so much time passes that one day you wake up and you realize, what have I done to myself? Here's how to take ownership. Ooh. Pinpoint the last covenant violation. When's the last time you said, later? To something you already declared sacred. Second thing you want to do is burn the agreement with delay. Because you got a contract with delay and procrastination. Write it down, name it, then cancel it out loud in real time. Override the old code. Burn it. Write a contract. Right? You want to write something down today? Get a big piece of paper. I'll get one of them big boards. Go to Michael's or something like that. Maybe they have it in CVS. I don't know. Find a place. Create a contract with ease and procrastination and delay. Write it out. Sign it. And then burn that shit, man. You do it in your head too. I like visualization that way. You want to visualize something. You want to pray on something. You want to meditate on something. Burn that contract. Override it. That's not enough though. The third thing you want to do is seal the new code with movement. Pick one move, not for motivation, for remembrance. You will not build the confidence. You will not continue to move if you can't remember that you can do it. You won't remember that you can do it until you start to do it. All right. It's April. We challenge ourselves daily. And really on the Do You rules, anytime I speak a message, I will give you something to do for today. So it's phone tap time. You got the call. Oh, I hate myself. Now move like it's recorded. It's our ARR audit remix re-record 0 compromise edition. We start with an audit. Audit one area where your delay became disguised obedience. For example, you haven't recorded the video, made the call, or launched the project, and now you call it God's timing. Yeah, I see you. Then you want to remix it. Remix the story you tell when you break your own code. Example, it's not self-preservation, it's compromise. And then replace that softness, because it is diapers soft, with sacredness. Now that you remixed, you want to re-record. Re-record one move in full obedience. You want an example? Cool. Wake up. Open the doc, send the text. Don't preview it, don't soften it, seal it, execute it. Move. Let's bring it home. You didn't need more time, you needed less compromise. You didn't need more motivation, you needed memory. This isn't about doing more. It's about becoming indivisible. 0 compromise, no breaks, no doubts, no justifications. So run the system or get rewritten by it. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.